What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew? This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining me here today on Lions Talk Live Morning Show Edition. Sorry, having some audio issues there for a second, but it is nearly the holidays. It is one day before the Detroit Lions face the Chicago Bears. We all get it. It is a great time of the year for all things Detroit Lions. The playoffs, less than a month away. And you know what? Take a moment at a time and ask what you're going to be thankful for this holiday season. You know what I'm thankful for? I'm thankful for the Duke Crew. I'm thankful for the Detroit Lions. I'm thankful the Detroit Lions are relevant with 3 games to go heading into the postseason. Why? Because as a longtime Lions fan, I can tell you more often than not, this hasn't been the case in my lifetime. More often than not, this is draft talk. This is free agency talk. This is who's the next head coach going to be. Who's this guy going to be? What's all going to happen in the offseason? You know what? With 3 weeks to go before the playoffs get here, we're talking about number 1 seed. We're talking about winning the division. We're talking about, is this guy going to rise to the occasion? And yes, speaking of that last part, you know what? Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Detroit Lions, gave a little bit of an update yesterday on a couple different situations, a couple different young developing players. We're going to talk about that during the main topic today. And to be fair, I think we've been speculating on one of them for a little bit of time, but I'm really happy to hear that DC might have a little bit more faith in some of these young guys than the rest of us. I think we've got some pretty good young guys that are growing and developing, and potentially some reasons why there's less worry about both the offense and the defense hitting the postseason. All right, real quick, before we get into 5 headlines now and then the main topic of the day, hey, let's real quick go through this. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We are officially 114 subs away from hitting 12,000. So if you can help out with that, it's free of charge. Reach on down, hit that subscribe button. And while you're doing so, maybe consider hitting that thumbs up button, that like button. We try to get every episode between 200 to 300 or more thumbs up or likes. So if you can help out with both those, I surely would be thankful in this holiday season. Last but not least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, give me a call or shoot me a text. You now see my number on your screen, 269-998-2384. I've been in the industry for over 30 years. If you want somebody who's going to make sure you don't step on any proverbial landmines, make sure you get a good deal, make sure your lender isn't working you over, charging you too much. I think I told you guys before, I've caught a few lenders in the last year trying to charge like $5,000 just for you to sign the paperwork, and others that it will try to overcharge you on points. So maybe you're paying an extra $15,000 to $20,000 when you shouldn't even be paying a dime. So if you want somebody who's going to help you out and doesn't mind running his mouth, you might want to give me a call then. It can be for vacant land, commercial property, a secondary house, new house, whatever it may be, man. Just give me a call or shoot me a text. If you're not in Michigan, I can still help you out. Just got to do things a little bit differently. All right, with all those formalities out of the way, let's go ahead and get over to the first segment of the show. And as you know, that is 5 headlines now. Yeah, I am having a little bit of audio issues on the screen, so sorry about that, guys. So I'm just going to turn the audio down on my computer, and then, you know what, I'll just listen in silence while working with you guys. So hopefully it's not affecting your end, but yeah, I'm getting some audio feedback on mine. All right, enough of the jibber jabber about the issues. Let's get over to it. And 5 headlines now. Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson getting ringing endorsement story by Samir Patel of Sports on Tap. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, So Ben Johnson, we all get it, man. Everybody wants to sign this guy. And one of the guys over the Chicago Tribune, Matt Briggs, he's been there for a couple years now, I'd say. He does a story on why the Chicago Bears should go ahead and get this guy. I think we all know it going into this upcoming offseason. Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, they're both going to be in-demand people. And yes, I know some people are going to say, well, Ben Johnson's defense gave up 40 whatever points last week. But I'm going to guess most front offices around the NFL are going to look at that and go, you know what? He's got a zillion guys on the injured reserve. We're not going to hold that against him. They're going to look for, basically what he's done when he's had healthy guys, schematic things. And if they then think maybe scheme-wise he's come up with some bad stuff, then maybe they'll dock him a little bit. But I do believe both guys are going to be in play for head coaching jobs. With that being said, I do think the Chicago Bears are going to be looking for an offensive coach, not a defensive coach, which obviously Aaron Glenn is a defensive coach. So all that being said, Ben Johnson, it is the opinion of the Chicago Tribune writer Brad Briggs that he's going to be the number one guy the Bears are going to try to go out and sign. Can he make that happen, or can the Chicago Bears make that happen? I guess we'll have to wait and see. What we can all say is they won't be the only team. In my opinion, and it's just my opinion, the Chicago Bears are probably one of the better situations. I don't think Ben Johnson's going to want to go to, Dallas if there's an opening there, because, Jerry Jones is always going to meddle in things. Just like I thought it was a great move by Ben Johnson not to go down to the Carolina Panthers for the same reason. Their owner's going to meddle in things. New York Giants, man, there's just, too much of the family running the show, and you have to wonder if the family even knows how to run the show. And you could go through a lot of different scenarios with different teams that are going to have head coaching openings. They're going to look for at least an offensive-minded coach. And for the ones looking for an offensive-minded coach, I would say you want to pay attention to who is you're working with versus just taking a job. Unless you're just desperate to be a head coach. We'll wait and see, but I don't get the impression Ben Johnson is desperate. So maybe he'll even be back next year. We'll see. All right, stud defensive back, starting offensive guard, questionable for Detroit Lions. MLive.com by Ben Raven Nevin Moore with this one. And yes, for those who don't know, the Lions yesterday, when they gave out their final injury update or practice report, hey, pretty dang healthy. But two names that did pop up on the list would be Brian Branch, questionable, and then Graham Glasgow, questionable. So we'll get into part of this during the main topic of the day a little bit more, but it's my anticipation both guys are going to play. Everybody knows at this point. You go 3-0, then you know what? You get basically 14 days off of physical contact because you're going to be able to rest those bodies. I think right now, if I'm the Detroit Lions, I'm going to do everything I can to win. I might not go, it won't be the end of the world if we don't get the number one seed, but I think you're going to do everything you can. One, to make sure you win the North so you do get a home playoff game. And two, on the road to achieving that, if you can get the number one seed and now get guaranteed all the games to be in Ford Field and get a week off, you're going to go for it. So yes, injured or not, unless you're just really injured, you're probably out on the field. Detroit Lions are making the case for Dan Campbell as Coach of the Year. Story by Sue Levine of Last Word on Sports. Never heard of Last Word of Sports, but they did have this story, and I thought they did a pretty good job with it. So, Dan Campbell, we've been talking about it all season long. Should he be a Coach of the Year candidate? My personal opinion, trying to be neutral, not just being a Lions fan. Yes. You look at what this guy and Brad Holmes, the front office, and everybody else, it's never just one person that makes a ship go one direction or the other direction, but he is the captain of the ship. He is the captain of the Detroit Lions. So right or wrong or indifferent, he's going to get blame. He's going to get praise. And you can say this, Lions are having the most historic season in the modern NFL that any of us have ever seen. You could say from a win-loss percentage, there may be one or two seasons greater in their history, but we all get it. It's pretty rare to find one better than this season. Dan Campbell has done a lot of good things. Yes, people are going to question the onside kick from against the Buffalo Bills, but here's what I'm going to say, man. In football, as a quarterback, you're not going to complete every pass. No defender is going to make every tackle. And guess what? Not every coach is going to have the best calls ever. We can also say against the Green Bay Packers at Ford Field, Lions probably won that game because a lot of those calls that MCDC did make to go for on a fourth down. And if you've never been a coach, let me tell you, you're going to be called and questioned on every call you make, and that's just part of it. while most of us sit up in front of a TV watching, it's a lot different when the results of your questions or calls you make impact the entire game. So I would say this. I think we all agree we're going to ride or die with this guy, and he's been the best head coach for the Detroit Lions, probably since, in my opinion, since Wayne Fontes. And there will be some people that don't like Wayne Fontes, but you know what? I thought he was a pretty good coach. He just had to deal with a very meddlesome front office. All right, moving on to the next of the 5 headlines now. Dan Skipper's wife had a pretty good reason to miss his hilarious Detroit Lions TD. Dave Burkett, Detroit Free Press with this one. For those who don't know, Dan Skipper's wife gave birth this week. And yes, Skipper excused her from being at the game because she was basically in labor at the office, excuse me, not the office, at the hospital, and was due to give birth, I think, within the next 48 hours after the game, which she ended up doing. So I think all things said and done, Skipper had a pretty good week. He scored a touchdown, finally got into the end zone, and yes, had a brand new baby come to him into the family. So congrats to Dan Skipper and the Skipper family with that one. All right, last of the 5 headlines now. Detroit Lions get 2 veteran offensive linemen back at practice. MLive.com, Ben Raven again on the scene with this one. And you guys probably all get it. Graham Glasgow, Frank the Tank returned to practice yesterday. They're giving them all the time off they can to rest because, you know what, we've been talking about it, watching the Buffalo Bills game. Both guys are beat up. They are not doing, physically as well as they could be. So you know what you do? You give them basically 4 or 5 days off, rest them up as much as you can. The nice thing is both of them are veteran players. So do they really need a ton of reps to kind of get ready into the game, especially this far in the season? Probably not. The Bears defense is missing some players. And to be honest, give Eberflus some credit, even though he's now the ex-Chicago's Bear coach. You know what? That defense doesn't look quite the same without him making the calls. He was a defensive-minded head coach, pretty dang good defensive coordinator, in my opinion. So if Aaron Glenn does leave, I might be looking at Eberflus to come on over. Just a thought there, whether or not he would come to Detroit, I don't know. Maybe he would just for some kind of revenge factor against the Bears. But I do think the Bears defense looks significantly different, and that may actually aid Glasgow and Frank Ragnow in that regard. All right, with all that stuff out of the way, let's get over to the main topic of the day. By the way, in case you were wondering, which I'm sure you weren't, the audio issues seem to be somewhat fixed. So trying to perform a little meatball surgery live on air to get things fixed while talking to you guys and reading the headlines. So, hey, it's always fun multitasking, right? All right, main topic of the day. MCDC did talk about this a little bit yesterday. And when the question of Graham Glasgow came up and Frank Ragnow, he was very upfront and honest. He's like, they're not worried about it. If one or both those guys have to miss a game, he's like, he has confidence in Yodi. And here's the other one I thought was more buoyant. We've been talking about this for a while. Christian Mahogany. He actually went on to say if Glasgow would not be able to go, they might just start Christian Mahogany. I mean, I'm paraphrasing here, so it might not be a direct quote. So we've been talking about it for about a month and a half or so now. I mean, right in that range, why Yodi was deactivated for game days, Mahogany, though, was active. I had talked to a lot of you guys about it that, in my opinion, the fact that Mahogany missed basically all training camp in the first half of the year because of, whatever mono that he had, it's like, man, the fact that they didn't put him on IR, to me, that was impressive. Because I was fully expecting when his 21-day window was up that he would go on the injured reserve. So we started all speculating, well, what are they seeing in the kid? And then Yodi became inactive on game days, Mahogany active. It sounds like, according to the MCDC, the Detroit Lions head coach himself, he's playing pretty dang well. It leads to the speculation that in the future, whether it's this season or next season, Mahogany's probably a starter for you. He's probably getting in there. And, if you guys ever saw him in college, this dude was a road grader. You want to talk about beefing up the run game for the Detroit Lions? Might just be him. And it might be sooner versus later. It sounds like MCDC, he's not trying to push Graham Glasgow out. I'm not going there with it. But if something happens, he's pretty dang confident Christian Mahogany can step in there and do a whole lot of good things. And, Yodi, hey, against the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota earlier this year, yes, he had a rough, I want to say, first drive or two, but after that, he was pretty solid. So could it be that these guys are about ready to get some play for the Detroit Lions in order to give a Graham Glasgow maybe a little time to rest up and heal so he can be a little bit better for the postseason? That might be the case. The other interesting factor, at least to me, was he talked about Rakestraw. MCDC talked about Rakestraw and also Broderick Martin. And not to nearly the amount of level of detail that he did with Mahogany, but he did bring up both of them. And I do think, according to his words, his body language, and how he handled things, I think he's seeing a lot of good stuff with Broderick Martin. And, Rakestraw, I get he's been out for about 5 weeks now. Probably going to skew his development a little bit. But look at the depth chart for the Detroit Lions. And you know what? I'm going to bring this up on the screen. Give me a second, guys, just so you guys can see what I'm seeing. And and I get it's not always easy to read these things on the channel, but I'll do what I can to make it as clear for you guys as possible. Let me try to. Here, there we go. That's as good as I can make it. So this is the most updated Lions depth chart, and you see as left end Zadarius Smith. Defensive tackle, Onsarike and Reeder. And again, we talked about that last week when McNeil went down. While Levi Onsarike isn't Lee McNeil, we all get that. But what he is he may be the fastest defensive tackle in the NFL. And I mean, maybe there's somebody who's close to him, but the dude's got some, he can run. We'll put it that way. And then he got Pascal's the other end. But you go behind him, and they now list Broderick Martin. And I get some of this is because of injury, et cetera, et cetera. Broderick Martin is going to back up Onsarike. So you've got two incredibly athletic defensive tackles now backing up each other. And in the future, you're going to have a Lee McNeil. So Lions are going to have three guys who can really motor and get after quarterbacks coming from the interior defensive line. And then backing up Reeder is going to be Miles Adams. He did talk about Adams a little bit. I think, we've had limited film on him, but what we can say is the one game that he started for the Lions or filled in with the Lions, he did a real good job there. And then Pat O'Connor, here's the other thing that I thought was a little interesting. They're now moving him over to be Josh Pascal's backup. And again, what do Lions like at ends? They like bigger, run first defensive ends that can get to the quarterback second. And Pat O'Connor, I'd say in his limited time here in Detroit, he's made a name for himself. He can get after people. He does have some wheels. So you know what? It may not be all doom and gloom on that defensive front. And I know everybody's going to look at the cornerback position. You got Kendall Vildor starting, Emmanuel Mosley backing up, along with on the other side, you got Terrion Arnold and Rakestraw when he returns. But right now, Rakestraw's not there. So the cornerback position is a little thin. So that would lead me to believe that Brian Branch is going to start getting more and more reps in the cornerback spot. Why? Because right now, there ain't nobody else. So you probably get looking at Vildor, Branch, Arnold, and Robertson as your corners. And I hope they find somebody else because that is a very thin cornerback room. But getting back to the main topic, I know, we all want to see guys be all pros the second they hit the NFL. I think most of us get that's not the case. It takes time to develop. You look at just Jack Campbell. A year ago, there were a lot of people saying he was a bust. He was a bum. Why did we draft him number 18? Those people aren't saying that anymore. You can look at Ife Melifano, his first and second year. He's a bust. He's a bum. Why did we even draft him? Last year, not so much. Everybody loved him. And he will be returning, whether or not it's tomorrow, probably not at this point, but I could see it definitely next week against the 49ers that he'll be back in there. And he's somebody, we talked about the corner or back room just a minute ago. He's someone that, as we all know, can play corner, play safety as well. So that will aid in that depth and flexibility for Aaron Glenn. But the Lions might actually just be getting a little bit healthy going into the playoffs in some of these games. They might actually be developing a little bit. The defensive line, you know what? Hey, it's not Aiden Hutchinson. It's not a Lee McNeil. We all get it. It's not Marcus Davenport. I would say, though, in regards to Davenport, you probably got to upgrade with Zadarius Smith over Davenport, so that's a win there. As far as a Lee McNeil, you know what? Hey, nobody's going to be a Lee McNeil. But you know what you do have? You do have two guys, though, that are probably just as athletic, if not more so, than a Lee as far as when it comes to speed. I'm not going to say all the other stuff, strength, power, the agility, because that's unfair. You haven't seen enough of them. But it might not be as grim up front as we're thinking. And yes, in the postseason, if, whatever the stars line up, then, you know what, maybe Aiden Hutchinson comes back or whatever. We'll deal with that when it happens. But I do like what MCDC had to say. I do think the Lions are starting to get some of the right parts back. And I do think that, that defense is, let's be honest, national media, YouTube media, whoever's media, probably left the Lions defense for dead right now, which may actually be a good thing because everybody's starting to overlook the Detroit Lions, where once everybody was chasing us. Hey, we got to get these guys, whatever. They're the number one team. They only lost one game in 100 years or whatever it is. A lot of the attention is now moved off to other teams because everybody just assumes it's the end of the world for us. And that's why listening to MCDC's comments about Mahogany, Baki, I almost forgot about to talk about him, Rakestraw, Martin, and there's other guys too. It may not be the end of the world. We might actually just be okay. I know I'm saying we're going to win the final 3 games. I think it's just out of necessity, plus how things line up. I think we're going to win the final 3 games. That happens. You got the number 1 seed. You know what? It starts really becoming tantalizing because we already know Ancelotti's going to be back this year. We already know Iffy Melifano is going to be back. We already know Jalen Reeves-Maven's going to be back. Could it be Carlton Davis returns? Sure, but I do think if he does return, and I get it'd have to be like the second round of the playoffs or the NFC Championship, he's probably a backup for you because he will have lost, I guess, probably 8 to 10 pounds during that time, maybe even more. Who knows, man? But it's still solid backup if he does return. David Montgomery, he's not going on the IR, at least not as of yet. I think they're going to review it on a week-to-week basis with him or maybe even day-to-day. But I do think if he's really committed to it, they're not going to put him on the IR. It's going to stink for the team because you know what? Instead of 53 options, you got 52 options. But the good part is you can make him just inactive for every game day. So, it's not a huge loss, but it does impact your numbers. So it may not be doom and gloom for the Lions. Let's hope we go out and just win by 100 billion points tomorrow, do the same against the 49ers. And then at that point, you set up basically a 1-game meaningful contest against Minnesota Vikings, unless they should lose tomorrow. And then I guess against the Green Bay Packers, they would do both of that. Lions just win tomorrow and then win against the 49ers. You know what? You can take week 18 off. All right, Duke Crew, let's get over to you guys. We've got about 38 minutes for me to go through a million comments and talk to you guys. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, anything I've said or other ideas, go ahead and throw them in the comment section. I mean, you guys all know how this works. And again, just for those who don't know, just so I remind you, Christmas Day, I'm not going to do a show. Love you all to death, but, I'm just going to hang out with the family that day. Hopefully you guys have a great time too. I don't know, maybe I could just leave the chat open if you guys want to talk to each other. But Christmas, hey, I'm going to take one day off a year. All right, JDC, morning all, back at you. Big Daz, Coach Dan, and the Duke Crew. Oh, yeah, hopefully you all are having a do-tastic day and holiday season. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Back to the future again, exclamation point. I see Subo. Woo! You know what, Bo, I didn't even think about making that correlation with the thumbnail. But I should have, man. I should have. Good call on that one. Shamir, good morning, Duke family, and same to you. Dale, greetings and salutations, Dan and the Duke Crew. Can't wait to prove all the pundits who don't believe in our mighty Lions. Chicago is going down. I think they are, man. And, not to make this an episode about the Chicago Bears or anything like that, but you look at when teams make coaching changes or reassignments, however you want to term it, man. They fire a head coach and then who they promote. I think the fact that they promoted who they did, the offensive quality control coach or whatever to be the head coach, that's a sign you do not want to win. Somebody's got to have that job. Somebody's got to make calls about what to do and how to prep the team. But you know what? We're going to give you an opportunity, and we're going to try to lock in a higher draft pick. And I think they could have made a different choice. And without knowing the guy they gave the reins to a ton, it's probably not fair of me to say, but just like years ago when the Miami Dolphins made Dan Campbell was the defensive assistant, or the tight ends assistant coach or whatever. You're doing that partially because you want a higher draft pick. Hey, there ain't going to be no chance for us to get wins in most of these games. All right, let's see. Big Daz, seems we getting going here on some ideas, and the Lions are nowhere near what we think. AG might want to take some ideas. Yeah, might want to pick up some ideas. Maybe he's talking to some people, trying to see what he can do to figure things out. Jameer, Woodward Street, here we come to party February. Let's get it done, 100%. Let's get on down to New Orleans and party in the Super Bowl. Robert, greetings and salutations. The future is ours to take. We still control our destiny. 100%, man. You win out. You are the number 1 seed. Eddie, greetings and salutations, everyone. Time to trust in the offense and help take away some of the stress from the D. Yeah, I think so. I think I know we've talked about it. I know Dane Orlowski and others in national media brought it up. He thinks, hey, what's your strength? It is the offense for this team. You're going to do everything you can to try to assist that defense. How you do that? Stay on the field, keep getting first downs, chew up that clock, keep scoring touchdowns too to put more pressure on the other team. Big Daz, great job, Coach Dan, and keep up the great work. Hey, end times, man. I love it. Love you guys. Love the channel. Hopefully you guys love it too. See, Dale, I think the Lions' roar will be the strongest going forward. The sports media is so out of reality because they do not want the Lions to be successful. I think you're spot on. I think as soon as the Lions lost Sunday against Buffalo, you could see everybody jumping on board. And I get they've got jobs to do. They got to feed families. But they were loving the idea that the Lions were no longer, on an 11-game win streak. Trey, Coach, seen you made the news. That's you, right? Might be. I guess I don't know. Let's see, Tori. Good morning, all. What did DC say? He just said that basically he gave an update on some of the younger players. And yeah, it was all pretty good news. Let's see, Dale. Buffalo was a wake up call. Yes, Detroit Lions 32-9 against the Teddy Bears. Let's hope the Bears don't even score 9. Big Daz, the Lions have to go all in. Detroit never know when they will have a chance again. You're not wrong, man. There are no guarantees in life, let alone pro sports. You get an opportunity like this, you need to take it because there's, as you said, you never know when it will happen again. Jason, good morning. Duke Crew starting line. It's an exciting time to be a Lions fan. Let's take care of business these final 3 games. Superdome or bust. Good to see you, Jason, this morning, as always. Matt, sup, Coach, and Duke Crew. Man, I am on my knees praying that this team can go all the way so that my sick dad can see them go to the Super Bowl for the first time in his 76 years. 100%, man. And yeah, hope your dad is doing well, Matty B, and gets better. And yes, it would be great to be in the Super Bowl for the Detroit Lions. Jess, greetings, salutations. Right now, the expectations are about 0 for this defense. Can only surprise us, laughing out loud. And congrats, Coach Dan. And no worries. I'm assuming you guys are talking about the Thursday night. But yeah, thanks for all that. Yes, it was a heck of an achievement. All right, Lions Talk Live fan. Hard to keep grit out of the Super Bowl. There you go. Hard to keep us out 100%. Burger time. Good morning, Coach. Thanks for all you do. Hey, I see what you did there. Exclamation points. Go Lions, beat the Bears. Yes, aren't you a part of the bet of the century? Or am I wrong? Maybe I don't know, man. I can't remember who did the bet with that guy who's a Chicago Bears dude. All right, Frank Tank. What up, Doe East? What up, Doe Crew? East Side. Woo, 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 woo. Go Lions, 100% Tank. Good morning to you, Big Daz. If we get a chance to pick up somebody that fits us, we should jump at the chance. Yeah, I agree. I think the Lions are going to probably leave no stone unturned. I think we talked about it this week. There's a possibility that Calais Campbell gets released from the Miami Dolphins. Could he come here? Sure. Will the Lions sign him? I guess we'll have to wait and see. France, good day to all. So how many 4th downs are we going for tomorrow? I'd say 3 to 4. I mean, that sounds right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be less. Maybe it'll be more. But that sounds about right to me. All balls, no D. Good morning, Duke Crew. Super Bowl or bust. I like the way you're thinking. Good to see you as always, my friend. JDC, getting real in the D. Go Lions. Yes, it is. Burger time. Good morning, JDC. Go Lions. Let's keep rolling. 13-2. Sounds great. Let's go. I agree. 13-2 would be great. Matty B, I have a feeling we are going to play as desperate as it takes to win every game we can. Yeah, and I get, again, not to keep talking about it, but I think the Lions understand their situation. They probably got a better understanding of where the D is or isn't. So I do think it's going to compel a lot of decisions on 4th downs offensively for the Detroit Lions. All balls, Broski with the Moski fixing to be Broski. We'll see. Big Daz, who gonna bear win up party Sunday? Woo! Hopefully we do. Yeah, we will have a win party Sunday. JDC. Great Lions loving morning to you, Lions fanatic. Bird time. Okay, Stephanie. Good morning. Oh, nice article, Coach. I hope we sack Williams 5 times tomorrow. Even know how the 49ers are doing with injuries. I haven't really checked on the 49ers, and thanks for that, by the way, with the article. But I'll deal with them once we get past Chicago. You know me, Coach. 1 game at a time. I do know they're still dealing with injuries, but I haven't really paid much attention to them as of yet. Dennis, good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. Same to you. Man Bear, good morning, Dan O'Rue and the awesome Scooby-Doo crew. And same to you, Man Bear. Same to you. Susan Scott, Ben Johnson is the betting favorite to be the next head coach for the Bears. I don't want to see him leave. No, I think most Lions fans would be in your same spot, Susan. They don't want to see him leave. Whether or not he's going to leave, I don't know, but we'll deal with that in the offseason. Art, lately I have been thinking of the film Hoosiers when coach says, quote, I would hope you would support who we are, not who we aren't, or are not, excuse me, end quote. And yeah, I think you're spot on with that. How about Broski has ghosted bets he lost on Thank Goodness Dan has 100 of it to pay out. Yeah, I've got I remember, you guys all sent in some cash. That's got to be like 6 months ago, but we'll deal with that in the appropriate time. Phil, good morning. Back at you, Phil. Papa, great grand rising to the Duke crew, and same to you. Allballs, shame his word means nothing. Yeah, I mean, the way he's acted the last 4 months or so, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I don't think he's going to pay up on any bets. I'll put it that way. Joe's, good morning. Go Lions, pedal to the metal. I like the way you're thinking. Allballs, 28 waiting, hit that thumbs up. Yeah, if you guys can, hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit all those buttons. As you guys know, it helps the channel out. Quentin, greetings, salutations, y'all. Just another game tomorrow, but we are going to win it, and I bet Vikings drop, and Phil does also. Okay, we'll go with that. Let's see, Dale Broski got put down on rocked on Detroit Lions. He made a bet and lost, and now saying he didn't bet, so he didn't want to pay up. Yeah, I don't doubt that with Broski at all, man. He's become a complete chump. Miles Margaret, greetings, salutations. Lions will fare fairly well versus Bears. Okay. Dale, his tail went between his legs and left. He probably did. So small. What up, Duke crew? Question mark. I'm happy we got 1 p.m. game tomorrow. Man, Mike Florio don't know jack about us. We practice outside, and he acts like we can't handle cold weather. You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I was on his I watched his him and Phil Simms talk about the Lions, I don't know, a couple days ago. And then it's almost like he has zero idea. I agree with you there that the Lions, for the most part, practice outdoors in the elements. So, in my opinion, it's been this way for a long time. Lions have the best of all situations. They've got a meaningful game in a cold weather environment. What do? You know what? You get out and practice 2-3 days in the cold weather here in Michigan. That's going to be similar to Green Bay or Chicago to get ready for it. And I really think a lot of national media just has no idea we do that. And then, obviously, if we're going to play in some place like San Francisco, whatever, practice indoors. Why? It simulates those conditions better. And that's where I think Mike Florio, I just don't think he's a very good journalist by any stretch of imagination. I think he's just what do you want to call it? A talking head. There you go. All balls. Our bet was 100 on Lions sweep and another 50 on defense ranks higher than the Bears. Okay. Good to know, because to be honest, man, I don't remember any of that stuff. Voltron Force, good morning, DC. Good, back at all of you guys. Duke Crew, excuse me. Good morning, Duke Crew. Pat, Lions need to play better than they did last time they played the Bears because the coach blew that one. He did. Lions played phenomenal first half. Second half, not so much. But the other part of that is, if you look at the Bears, other than maybe like the last month, that's been their MO all season long. They do not play well in the first half. Second half, they flip the switch. Pat Rock, Coach, I've got a question. What do you do for your spare time? Question mark, feels like you work all the time. I do work a lot. I enjoy my jobs. So to me, all my different jobs really aren't work because they're just things I enjoy doing. More, what do you got? Good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. What a great time to be a Lions fan. You're not wrong. It's going to be even greater tomorrow after that win. Dave, bring back James Houston. If the Browns release him, I wonder if the Lions would bring him back. So I would assume so, but I don't know. Pat, a lot of people say the Lions are going to kill them. I hope so too. Oh yeah, but I think it's going to be a close game. Probably most NFL games really are fairly close. There's not many, even though we've been spoiled a little bit this year, there's not many that are really blowouts. All balls need to watch under the helmet, Kirby Joseph. There we go. All balls. Lions haven't lost back-to-back games in ages. No, I want to say they're the best team in the league right now over the last, whatever it is, 3 or 4 years in that regard. Anymore, our Christmas will be glorious! Exclamation point. Santa will deliver us a Lions victory, 48-9. I will take that. Southwest Lions fans, good morning. Woo! Same to you, Paul. Let's go and let's get going. Pat, if Miami cut Campbell, does he go to waivers? Question mark. Or he can sign with anybody? He can sign with anybody. Yeah, he can sign with anybody. He's not restricted like other people on the waiver wire. Matt B, Tree of Destiny, bring us a few more wins. Let's see if they can do just that. The tree is all powerful. Southwest, Lions going on an epic playoff run for the Super Bowl. I think you are correct, 100%. All balls, we're extremely thankful for you, Coach, and Lions Talk Live. And I'm extremely thankful for you guys. So I guess it works out for all. Pat, do you think, do you have all your Christmas shopping done? Oh, yeah. No, I'll be finishing that up today and tomorrow. So get that all done. Southwest, believe the hype, hit them likes. Hey, I like the way you're thinking. Lionel, greetings, salutations, Duke crew, exclamation point, one more day, lightning and Thundercats. Ho! I'll go with that. Good morning to you. David, thankful to be doing okay health-wise this Christmas. Lions will get number 1 seed. I hope we do. I think we will get the number 1 seed. Lauren, good morning, everyone. One day until game day, 100%. Tomorrow, we will be all enjoying the game at 1 o'clock. Pat, let's give Danny down. Woo, woo. Oh, yeah. I'll go with all of that. Derek, good morning, Coach and crew. I have a gut feeling that Ben Johnson stays in Detroit for another year. We'll see what happens. The Fish and Church dude. Hi, y'all. Lions beat the Bears. Yeah, I think you are correct. I think we are going to beat the Bears. Pat, do you think Ivy may play this week? Question mark. Or do you think he'll be out again? Out again. I think he doesn't play this week, Pat. I think he'll probably. My guess is he'll be back against the 49ers. If not, then obviously the last game of the regular season. Vernon, good morning, Coach and crew. Coach, if you could get 2 players on offense or defense, who would it be and why? Let's go Lions. If I could do a what do you want to call it? Expansion draft, probably on defense for me. If you want, even with the guys on the IR and everything, it probably would be Aiden Hutchinson and Ali McNeil. I'd probably build with them. If it's on offense, you got to start with a quarterback, because if you don't have a quarterback, you have no chance in the NFL. From there, probably Penei Sewell. Probably Golf and Sewell. I'll go with that. All right, Leonard. Morning, Coach Dan. MCDC. Let's go Lions 35-21 and keep this historic Lions season going. I like the way you're thinking. Don, Jacksonville is the best coaching opening. Might be, might just be. JDC, Dre Forrest rocks and he rolls. Trim Reaper, hit fingers points early and often go Lions. Oh, yeah, and thank you for that. Yes, hit the like and subscribe button and plus hit all those buttons. I'd say Vern, in my opinion, Alexander, the wide receiver, don't have the speed. Okay, doesn't have the speed. Fair enough. See, the Hawk tried to win one of the Little Skipper for the Little Skipper. Yeah, let's try to win one for Little Skipper indeed. JDC, Detroit Lions, winter storm front going to roll into Soldier Field? Yes, it is. About, gosh, man, I'm doing the math in my head. We'll say 30 hours from now. Let's see, Pat, the big buck, old Wayne Fonts. Yes, I remember he would have a big old cigar. Yeah, he was a character, man. I liked the dude, loved the interviewing him. He was a great guy, great guy. Derek, if Eberflus does become our next DC, he would be looking to get revenge against the Bears. You're not wrong there. He would probably want that. He's human, man. You fired me, man. I want revenge against you. After the first game, though, it probably lessens every game after that and just becomes another game. All right, Vern, Coach, in your opinion, do you think AG defense looked like the 46 of the Bears 85 or Houston Oilers? If it was me, knowing the limitations of the D, at least some of them, I would probably do something similar to that. Hey, you can't stop everything. You just don't have the personnel for it. So what do you do to take away most of the options from Caleb Williams? This is what I was saying last week with Josh Allen. You can't let him do everything. If he does, he's going to be comfortable and he's going to pick you apart. So, Vern, to your point, yeah, I would do something similar with a lot of blitzing just to take away options. Not all the options. That's impossible, but do what you can to put it in an advantageous situation for your D. All right, JDC, Puff, woo, coffee, and Lions Talk Live. Always good, always good. Southwest, get Mosley out of here. The guy been here how long and played how many games? And my problem is you get him out, who you bring in and replace him. And that's right now I'm guessing that, from what MCDC said yesterday, he had Mosley had his best week this season, this week in practice. So that doesn't sound like he's going to start, but he's probably the backup you may need at this point. Hey, Fish, what's up with the updates, news on Dolphins, Calais Campbell? Dolphins lose a game. They're probably, at least the reports are suggesting they're going to release Calais Campbell so he can sign with somebody. Whether or not he comes to Detroit, that would be the $1 million question. Raider, it feels great being the Hunters once again, to be honest. Yeah, kind of a change of pace a little bit. I think you're spot on. Eddie Switch, do you see Calais Campbell coming to the Lions? I think it would be a good fit for him just because unless he just wants to be a backup, then I think there's probably some other options. But it's probably going to come down, if he's released and he wants to go to an NFC team, it's going to be us or Philly, in my opinion. Greg, good morning, Duke Crew. A bear spanking coming tomorrow. Woo, woo, woo. I'll go with that. JDC, LOE Chinese Prophet says, go Lions. I'll go with that. Bill, last week I overreacted and gave them up for dead. I think they are still on track for the number 1 seed in the Super Bowl. Yeah, 100%, man. You're not alone in that regard. Trim Reaper, I hear Chase Young will be a Lion next year. We'll wait and see. That could be. Lauren, is Boss Up Ball out on today? I think so. I'm not 100% sure. You have to check it out, but I believe so. Roland, what do you got? Happy holidays. It's going to be a blue Christmas for the Bears. It might be true. Dash, what do you? I get to watch the Lions beat down the Bears on my birthday. Happy pre-birthday. 35-14 Lions. Restore the roar. It is going to be restored. Vernon, Coach, at what point do we get Laporta or JMO involved in the jet sweeps? Laporta, I can see blocking on it. I don't know if you'd run a jet sweep with him, but JMO probably to some degree, 100%. No Town, Lions rule, Bears drool, need a higher draft pick to draft more wide receivers for the new quarterback. It could be where they're going. In my opinion, that's what they're trying to do inadvertently without making it too obvious. The Hawk, that first round bye is incentive for the Lions to get much needed rest and rehabilitation. I think you're correct. Needed. Yeah, I knew where you're going with that. I got you. Johnny Gas, happy holidays, Duke Crew! Exclamation points. Good to see you, Johnny. We got to get you back on the show. Give me a text. Let me know what works for you. Lions prove a point this week and get the offense run. Gibbs and JMO, big games. I'll go with it. Let me know your bold predictions. See, all balls, no D. It's me, Coach, bet of the century with Broski. Correct. Yeah, correct. All right, JDC Lions Talk Live, the Factor Factory. I'll go with that. The T-Bones, what do you got? This Buffalo loss overshadowed possibly the best performance by Goff. You're not wrong. 500 yards passing, 100 touchdowns. That's hard to beat. By the way, he handled the consistent pressure, showed me that he is fully capable of winning the Super Bowl, 100%. And I know we've talked about it before on the show, but, Florio, going back to him in his, kind of lazy reporting in the piece, I want to say he brought up a game from like 2017 or 18. I was like, my gosh, Jared Goff was like in his second or third year in the league. If you think, man, that's the end-all, be-all for a player, what they do in their first or second year in the league, man, it's just he acts so brand new on stuff. Guys tend to get better in time, especially quarterbacks with more experience. So, just my opinion. Let's see. Johnny, what do you got pointing up? I'm down with that. Derwin, let's go do family. I got the Lions smoking the Bears so bad that Hooker gets his first touchdown tomorrow. I'm down with that. That'd be great. Fly ahead. I believe Ben Johnson doesn't want to get a team unless they fire their GM. It might be. JDC, same back at you. Johnny Gas Sports. JDC, the national media. I'll go with that. Derek, happy holidays to you, Johnny G. Johnny Gaz, Floro has always been a Vikings slappy. You're not wrong there. He is a self-proclaimed Vikings fan, and he can't stand that the Lions run the North. I think you are spot on with that. Thanks, Derek. Same to you, says Johnny. What up, JDC? David, good morning, all. Back at you. Courtney, saw Santa with Melvindale Police on DG store handing out money, Dollar General store handing out money. I said, all I want is a Lombardi for the Lions. All cheered. Hey, nothing wrong with that. That'd be a great wish for all of us to get. JC, Johnny Gas Sports, I am killing time. There you go. Michael, what was the great news? DC's assessment of Christian Mahogany, Broderick Martin, and some of the younger players, how they're developing, and he's got a lot of thoughts about them. Michael, Lions will trade for Myles Garrett this offseason. I did see there was a report yesterday. For those who don't know, Myles Garrett always said he wants to remain in Cleveland. But then yesterday he came out and said he does not want to be a part of a rebuild. And what's Cleveland about to do? Go through another rebuilding process. Lauren, Coach, I'm going to pull the trigger on the Michigan Panthers podcast. Go for it, man. I think that's a great idea. Think I'm going to drop my first video on January 1st. Okay, let me know, man. I'll check it out. The Smith, what do you got? I thought I brought Broski a Christmas ornament. I will send it to him one day express before the game. There you go. Might want to get it over to him. I'm sure he'll enjoy it. Miles Martin, Lauren, looking forward to it. 100%. JDC, Lauren, we'll go with that. JDC, thumbs up. Keegan, what's the news, coach? A bunch of younger players are developing. Christian Mahogany, he thinks could, if need be, could start. Broderick Martin, he did speak about how he's improving. And again, there's other people. He talked about Rakestraw a little bit, amongst others. Let's see, Derek, I'll check that out soon, Lauren. Yeah, check it all out once he's got it up. Let us know, Lauren. If it wasn't for the support of everyone, I'd be too chicken to do it. But you guys have really been really supportive and positive. Yeah, the only thing I can say to you, man, is you're going to fall on your face. You're going to make mistakes. But every day, you'll make less mistakes just as you get better and better at it. So just go out and enjoy it, and don't worry about it if you make a mistake. How's Lauren smiling? Mike K, micro machines. Hey, I remember those back in the day. Mark, Lions 28, Bears 21. I'll go with that. Trim Reaper, I refer to Caleb Williams as finger painting coach. All right, that might be correct. Dennis is laughing. Let's see. JDC Magic 8 Ball says Lions 34, Bears 20. I would take that in a heartbeat. It's a win. The Trim Reaper, what up, Johnny? Let's see. Miles Margaret, Dash Render, happy birthday, brah. Hope you get your wish. Indeed, 100%. Enjoy that birthday. Lauren, 31-9. I think everybody would be happy with that. Southwest, if it wasn't for the greatest quarterback of all time, greatest head coach, Goff would have been he would have had a Super Bowl. I trust Goff 100%. Yeah, and he did miss, full disclosure, he did miss a touchdown, maybe even two in there, but he also had a touchdown pass dropped. That dropped touchdown pass alone would have won them, if I'm not mistaken, the Super Bowl. Full slate, maybe Manu can play defensive tackle. I bet she could, but it would take time to develop him in that regard. But yeah, he's definitely got the body and stuff for it. Johnny, what's happening? We'll find out. Let's see, the Trim Reaper, Lions 35, Teddy Bears 17. Woo! I'll go with that. Johnny Gas, what's up, the Trim Reaper? Johnny V, win the next two, and we could have 2 weeks to heal our walking wounded before playoffs. Not wrong there. Spot on. Keegan, finally some good news. That's all we need now, 100%. Now go out and get that win tomorrow and get more good news. JDC, I ain't scared. Go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Keegan, thanks, Coach. Anytime, my friend. Anytime. JDC, happy trails. Go Lions victory. We'll see you on the next one. Then Lansing JP, Mike K, go Lions, 100%. All right, guys, I'll get out of here. If there is some sort of breaking news today, I'll get it over to you as quick as possible. Otherwise, if you would be so kind, before you check out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Take care. Have a good day. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. We'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. You're still here? What are you doing here? It's over. The show's over. Go home.